I think deadlines are extremely important because if you can't meet a deadline, you will look unprofessional and that you don't care about the job and the client. In addition, you will not be paid and can get fired if that continues. I believe I'm a good at meeting deadlines most of the time because last year I had 5 teachers. In all of them I had homework, but there was one which I had more. I always had deadlines and I had to meet them, which I always did. One of them, I always had homework for Friday, and I always met that deadline. If I wasn't meeting the deadline, it was because I was struggling with the work. The strategies tools that I use is to listen to music while I do the work and to take some time to myself to relax. The strategies and tools that I used before is to do a checklist, because when I had the master revision I had to do it. I did a checklist, and that helped me a lot to continue and to be motivated. And another one was I removed distractions and I asked for help when I had a technical issue. What I want to do for myself to meet a deadline is, again, a checklist, because it helps me to keep myself motivated. Celebrate at the end of the day after I've done the work. For example, give myself a treat. Allow time for feedback. Break it down and do a milestone.
Okay, with your FMP then, where do you think a good milestone, or where would it be good to put milestones in?
I would count how many days there are until the final date, and I would break the work into the days. For example, I would take the Saturday off, and then I would cut down the work, so I can do one day this work, the other day this part.
Okay, so when we had the discussion about this, we looked at logical milestones. Can you remember what they were?
No.
Typically a production, it starts off with pre-production.
Uh-huh.
Then you've got production, and then you've got post-production. Those would be the obvious ones.
Okay, yes.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, we also talked about when you've got a checklist, how you can look at it every day and do what. Can you remember what we said? Where do you check, if you've got a checklist in front of you, what's the next thing you do with the checklist?
I tick. No, I tick as done when I finish something.
Okay, so if you've got a number of tasks to do, what's the first thing you do? You say you've got 10 tasks on a given day. What's the next step?
I break it down.
Break it down into what?
What's the most important to do?
Okay, what's the word that we use for that? Remember you said prioritise?
I'll prioritize.
Yeah, so what you're doing every day is have a look at it, decide what absolutely needs to be done first, then second, third and fourth, and that often helps as well. Look, I know that so far the work that you've demonstrated, you are easily or comfortably meeting deadlines, so you're naturally, I think, quite highly organised. But sometimes the bigger the project, the more challenging it's going to be. Any other tools that you might use for the FMP that we talked about?
One strategy that helped me before was I had a book which I wrote all my notes and all my revisions, and I tried to be as creative as possible, so maybe highlight something or do different notes and everything like that. So something that is going to help me to keep myself motivated is to be creative with my website. So my 7 Deadly Sins, I tried to make the page all creative, and that helped me to keep myself motivated.
That's nice, isn't it? You get pleasure from what you're doing. Final thing I'll say, Miro we looked at as a bit of software. Any features of Miro that we talked about that you might use?
Sticky notes.
The sticky notes. What about the calendar and the timeline? Do you think you're going to use those?
Yes, there's the Outlook from the calendar too.
So you're going to use the Outlook, are you?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Anything else you'd like to add?
No.
Okay, lovely. Thank you for your recording.